Welcome to TacosandGeeks.com reviews. Justin here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Spider-Man Miles Morales, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales for the PlayStation 4. And it's also available for the PlayStation 5. The footage that I use is from my PlayStation 4. I don't have a 5 yet, so I'm going to review it for the PlayStation 4. This is a PS4 review. As always, I'll talk about the story, and I have to say the story is really good. A little predictable, but really good. One thing that really drives the story, and one thing I really loved about the story, is it works with some great characters and great characterization. We get more exploration on who Miles Morales is as a person, how Miles Morales is a character, and this is a more of a coming of age story for Miles. We get to see Miles as he's trying to live up to the Spider-Man mantle, trying to become not only his own man as a kid, as a teenager going through adolescence, but basically dealing with the tragedy that happened in the previous game, but also trying to establish himself as a Spider-Man and what does it take to be a hero. And you have a great cast all around. Love it. Great story. So let's talk a little bit about the gameplay. The gameplay, for the most part, if you played the predecessor Marvel Spider-Man, it hasn't changed that much, but there are some new minor tweaks and new additions that really separate the two Spider-Mans. We have Miles with his own abilities. As you just saw previously, Miles is able to camouflage and disappear, and he also has this thing now where he's able to attack with electrical charges, which he calls the Venom Punch, as you can see right there. And he also is able to use holograms to attack his enemies, which is very effective. He has this electrical discharge, which can distract enemies or incapacitate them. And of course, he has the same thing Peter has, something with a gravity device, which works very well when you have lots of enemies. And for the most part, I thought it did a really great job of really showing you how different the Spider-Mans are. Miles has much more powerful attacks than Peter, but Peter has more of gadgets that he's able to do compared to Miles. Miles only has 4 gadgets to his repertoire compared to Peter. And I thought that really was really cool for them to really give you that feel of how different, even when it comes to swinging, Miles just has a different type of way he swings, a little bit more graced compared to Peter, more acrobatics, more ways to flips and tricks. I thought it was very well done. As always, the map of New York City is top notch here. The same map, everything is literally in the same place. Harlem is in the same place, so the same assets was very used. I think Harlem is a little bit bigger, it's expansive. Readers and watchers, let me know if you think Harlem was expanded just a tiny bit. I don't know. I felt Harlem was a little bigger size compared to the predecessor. And of course, what is the Spider-Man game without the suits? As you saw, just a little preview of the suits. And Miles has something a little bit different, which is called visor mods, which gives him extra abilities and such. Like one visor will have him. He can use his camouflage and not be detected if he uses web strike. Miles has 4, as you see, he has 4 gadgets that he can choose from compared to Peter, who has so much gadgets that he can choose from. But one thing I did like what they introduced was the skill tree. I thought the skill tree was done very, very, very well. And I thought it was more easier for me to choose and level up all my characters. By the time at the end of the game, as you can see here, you're going to be able to level up everything. And of course, you have your side missions in there, and this is your basic combat. But your side missions, one thing I really did like about it is that you're going to see that they came up with an in-story reason why you won't have to keep going to the app. Miles' best friend Genki comes up with a Spider-Man app, which I thought was a very much nice UI to bring up, that way you can select your side missions directly, because before in the previous game you had to get your side missions from the actual map, but now all you have to do is click on activity. You just swipe your touchpad left, this comes up, and you just click on which side mission you want to do, and the icon comes up to the direction where the navigation GPS will come to where you need to go to, instead of doing it the old way, like clicking. So let's talk a little bit about the voice.
Finn? Hey, fixed your doorbell.
It's so good to see you. How are you? It's been like
months. A lot's changed.
Yeah, it really has.
Is that our guest of honor? Come on in, you two. Dinner's almost ready. Finn, I'm so glad you could make it.
Thanks for inviting me, Miss Morales.
We missed you. Well, this one especially.
Hi. Finn. This is Game. My friend.
The music and the voice acting is top notch here. Najee Jeter did an excellent job as Miles Morales, but I definitely have to give a shout out to Jasmine Savoy Brown as Finn. She did an amazing performance, and Griffin Patu as Genki did a great job. Voice acting is top notch, one of the best I've seen all year. And we're gonna talk a little bit about the graphics here. The graphics for the PlayStation 4 is pretty much the same. Compared to Marvel Spider-Man, a little bit more nice textures here and there, but with the precipitation, the snow looks great. It looks grand. As you can see, the way the lighting is, the sunset is the best, to me, my favorite setting as it's going to the sunset. The swinging animations, as you can see, Miles just cocky. The way he swings is just way much more different than Peter. Different tricks, way more different tricks. But as you can, I just want you to pay attention to the sun here and how the sun looks, how it illuminates the cities and the reflection of the windows and the glass. It looks absolutely gorgeous. But that does not mean the graphics and the frame rate does not have its issues on the PS4, because it absolutely does. There's going to be rendering time sometimes when I was swinging. The game will stop just to load the next area really quickly. I also just thought the PS5, just looking at the footage, definitely is way more superior compared to the one we got, but this still runs smooth as the other one. But like I said, there's some minor hiccups that I've had with it, but the game New York, it still captures New York to a T. It still looks gorgeous. But one thing I was noticing is little hiccups here and there. Like you can see like this here, right here, where Miles is missing his body until the game just renders it in. So that kind of happened from time to time depending on what section of the game you are in. And one of the problems I also did have, like, you know, with the snow, sometimes the game will, you know, drop a little bit, because I think the highest for the PS4 is at 30 FPS. And right here, as you can see, as I'm doing a car chase, it has to stop to load. Like, I haven't experienced things like that since, like, the old school PS2 days and things like that. So to have this in the game when I'm going through a fast car chase, and then it just stops. As you just saw, it just had to load the trees in the background like that. So I encountered that a lot during my car chase scenes. So I try not to do the car chase missions at times, because you know, not saying it's a game breaking glitch or anything like that, but or a game breaking problem, but it does get a little annoying when you're in that action and then it just stops to render. So that was just a problem. But overall, the final grade, I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. It is a spectacular game. It feels like a more DLC. The reason why I'm not giving it a 9, because the runtime is short, even with the side missions. I completed this in like probably in 5 hours or so. The story is great, but also very predictable. It's telegraphed who the villain is straight from the first hour. You can just guess, and the motivations you can obviously guess too. So the story is not. It's not as good as Marvel Spider-Man, but it's still a stellar entry. I would say wait for a sale, especially now that the holiday season is around. This might be on sale, who knows, maybe for Black Friday or probably Cyber Monday. Maybe, hopefully it'll be $10 off, but I wouldn't pay full price for this, because to me it felt more like a very long DLC compared to an actual full-fledged spin-off game. But that doesn't mean the game is bad. I just trying to talk about more of the actual length of it. You have some great voice acting. You have some brilliant music. The gameplay is still solid. Graphics are nice, minus a couple of frame rate issues and hiccups from time to time. It is replayable, especially after you beat the game. You have to pay attention to certain dialogues of the epilogue, because they give you hints of the second game of Spider-Man 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2 with Peter Parker and things like that. You get to find out what Peter was doing when he was away in this game. So it's actually some really good replayability as well. You also have a new game plus that everybody was asking for. So I would definitely pick it up if you're a diehard. But if you want to wait, I would say wait for the PS5 to get this, because otherwise it does feel like a little bit more of a DLC, like a really good expensive DLC. You do get your money's worth with content and things like that, but I can't recommend this at full price. I would say wait for the sale. But 8.5 for those who like the numbers, a B+ for those who like the letters. Solid game, nice story, great production, brilliant voice acting. Definitely, I would say pick it up, Spidey fans. Everybody else, wait for it to drop at least $10 off, and then I'll say, cop it. I wouldn't pay the full $50 for this one. Later days.